Me and Jessica did the poetry project over William Shakespeare's multiple sonnets. His first one is Sonnet 18. This one is about the one where he compares his lover to a summer's day. He starts comparing love to the nature and beauty of just any summer day. He talks about how rough winds shake the beloved buds of May, and he tries to create imagery in our head by explaining how nature will not fade and just different things like that. But that's Sonnet 18 for the most part. Poetry terms for that one. A metaphor in there is Shakespeare opens the poem with a metaphor comparing the woman he loves to all the best characteristics of a summer's day. Rhyme scheme for most Shakespearean sonnets are A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, and G, G. Stanzas for his poems are usually A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, and G, G. Stanzas with the combinations of A and B, C and D, E and F, and G and G. The tone of this poem is endearing. He is just completely talking about how much love he has for his, I guess, lover. And the setting of this is just could just be out in a field on a summer day, just kind of thinking about someone. And the Shakespearean sonnet, this is Sonnet 18. The repetition is we find summer, summer, fair, fair, so long, thou, thou, thou. Fifth line, the eye of heaven is the sun. Alliteration in here is the SH with shale, shake, short. The purpose of this is to present the extreme contrast between the immense beauty of the speaker's love for an unnamed lover. The speaker of this is just a man who is in love and just trying to explain it in simpler terms. Simile in this would be, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. He's just comparing, the two things compared in this is love and nature. Imagery, the poem is simply a statement of praise about the beauty of beloved summer to tens unpleasant extremes. So as you're reading this, you kind of just see, he's talking about his love, but we kind of see just like a really warm day with like flowers blooming and all that kind of stuff. A paradox, death will claim his victim, but she will not die. Well, he says death will claim, but then says that no one will die. So it's kind of completely contradicting itself. Historical background for this. This poem is just about the love someone has for a friend or, I guess, a lover. Then they talk about the friend passing away and he's trying to cope. So he then compares his friend's qualities to different pieces of nature to ensure that he will always be with them. So instead of saying, my friend is here with me, he's saying, I compare his beauty to this flower. So right now this flower is with me, so that means he's with me. At the end, he says, as long as I write, you will be known and immortal. So as long as he gets to write about his love and write about nature and stuff, his lover will live on. I think this is how most people cope with death. They think of their past loved ones when a certain smell or symbol comes up. Some even think that their loved one is somehow with them at that exact moment when they see these objects or smell these certain smells. The next sonnet is Sonnet 29. This is about kind of an outcast boy. He talks about how he's kind of just off in the distance while everyone else is like surrounded by friends because they're, athletic or they have skills. And he kind of just talks about how he wished God would have given him these qualities. And he talks about how this depresses him and how it's sad. So poetry terms for this one, imagery. I picture like just a quiet boy in the hallway by himself alone, kind of wishing he could be in the popular crowd. Stanza once again for any Shakespearean sonnet is A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. And the tone for this is wishful. He's kind of like, or jealousy. Repetitions, he repeats that he is depressed. Purpose is to show everyone feels unwanted sometimes and it's okay. Speaker is just an unwanted man. Rhyme scheme, again, is A, B, and all that. Setting, just being pretty much alone anywhere, not being in the crowd, not being with the group. And conceits, wishes he could compare his life to other people's. Iambic pentameter. Every Shakespearean sonnet line is made of 10 syllables, unstressed followed by stressed. Paradox, with that I most enjoy, contented least. He says his most contented time is not contented at all. That's extreme contradiction. Hyperbole, when in disgrace with fortune in men's eyes. Falling from grace, it's pretty much saying falling from grace in men's eyes. He's not literally falling, he's just kind of trying to explain it easier way. Simile, featured like him with friends possessed. He wishes he can compare himself to another man. Historical background. This poem is about a man who feels unwanted and not good enough. He wants to be like other people and be loved more by other people. He prays to God to make his fate better. By the end, he realizes that he can't change who he is. This is how a lot of people feel nowadays. In school, some feel like they're not good enough and feel like they're not cool enough. They're the outcast or geek, loser, all that kind of stereotypes. But soon after they leave high school, they realize it didn't really matter because they decide their own fate and accomplishments. The next sonnet is Sonnet 30. This is kind of just, I kind of picture just like a man or a woman just, by themselves at night, kind of overthinking things. And it all starts when he's grieving his lover who's passed away and he's crying. And as he's crying and he's feeling this way, other things start to kind of pour in and he starts grieving other things. So poetry terms for this one, once again, I imagine just a man at night kind of just grieving and thinking about all like his losses and stuff. Tone, grief. Stanza, once again, A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. Repetition, he repeats phrases that conclude that he is crying or depressed. Alliteration, went to the sessions of sweet, silent thought. Purpose, to say it's okay to grieve. Speaker, grieving man. Setting, just alone at night in a house or just anywhere just by yourself. Iambic pentameter. Once again, all Shakespearean sonnets are made of 10 syllables, unstressed followed by stressed. Paradox, then can I drown an eye, unst to flow. He cries even though he never cries. Extreme contradiction there. Simile, which I knew pay as if not paid before. He's comparing all the grief in the world to the grief he feels right now at this moment. Historical background. This is yet another poem about the speaker trying to get his friend/lover's grief over their death. It's about him overthinking at night and all the grief coming over him at once. All humans overthink at night and think about all the past mishaps and mistakes. It's human nature. Like right now at teenagers' age, that's what a lot of teenagers say. They overthink at night and they just do all that. Sonnet 71. This is once again talking about death. He's talking about himself dying and that when he finally dies, he doesn't want anyone to grieve him. That just let them know that he's gone and you can't do anything about it, so you can't grieve forever. Poetry terms. Conceit, let your love decay just as my life rots away. As he dies, so will their love. I imagine a man at a desk reflecting his life and finding the perfect words to narrate his death. Stanza, once again, A, B, A, B. Tone, hopeful, remorseful. Purpose, to help people cope after a suicide. Speaker, man writing a suicidal letter. Rhyme scheme, once again, A, B, A, B. Setting, could be like a funeral or pre-funeral. Iambic pentameter, once again, all sonnets are made out of 10 syllables, unstressed followed by stress. Paradox, if you read this sonnet, remember it not. If you read this, forget it. That's completely contradicting itself. Allusions, then you shall hear the surly, sullen bell. That completely makes you think of just a really sad song coming off of a bell. Simile, do not so much as my poor name rehearse. He's comparing grief to any type of rehearsal. So when you're for your choir and you rehearse it over and over again, he's saying, don't do that with my death. This poem is similar to a suicidal note or will. He is preparing his loved one for the life after he has passed. He tells her to move on, not to think of him. He also tells her to mourn for a little. Everybody in the situation usually writes a note to try and make everyone understand and make it easier on people.